Hi there, this is Alfie Whattam. I'm a tech recruiter in London and the host of the London Tech Talks podcast. Today I'm speaking with Dave Evans about a few different things. So thanks for joining us, Dave. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself to give some context to the audience?
Yep, sure. Good morning, Alfie, and good morning, everybody. A bit of context about myself. So I've been in technology all my working life. I'm currently CTO at Sports Loyalty. I'm married. I've got 3 children, 3 boys, 2 dogs, 1 cat, and I live in the Cotswolds, which is a beautiful place to live. So I'm really being focused as a CTO really for the last 20 years in terms of building large-scale, great applications and platforms.
Brilliant. And can you tell us a little bit more, Dave, about what you're currently working on and that current venture that you mentioned?
Yeah, sure. So Sports Loyalty, many people not have heard of it, but they'll probably be interacting with it in that we provide engagement and loyalty platforms to major high street banks. So we operate NatWest and RBS loyalty programs for their cashback accounts. We also work with Visa, American Express, MasterCard in really adding benefits to members as they use their credit cards, their debit cards in everyday shopping. So from a business point of view, it's amazing. We get a massive data in terms of how people are spending, where they're spending, and then we work with a whole range of retailers, of pubs, chains, hospitality, really looking to get the best proposition, the best price, the best offers for those members, so they get great value from their programs.
Brilliant. Well, obviously, data being the new oil, obviously great business to be in, I imagine. Wicked. Well, look, we're filming this during lockdown, Dave. What's your lockdown experience been like?
From a personal point of view, I'm very fortunate. As I live in the Cotswolds, I have, as you can probably see from the background, I live in a very old house, even older than me, and there's plenty of greenery, plenty of countryside around us. So from a personal point of view, it's been comfortable. From a professional point of view, I think it's been really interesting. I spent a number of years working with distributed development teams. We currently have a great team in Belfast. So I'm quite used to working in a distributed fashion. But I think the big change has been where everybody is distributed. Suddenly video conferencing, remote working, a lot of the agile processes really come into play. And everyone's committed to communicating. And I think we're seeing, particularly from the development side, a great deal of productivity. The developers are focused, they're engaging in the agile ceremonies, and really seeing some great productivity. I think the other side of that is creativity. I think from an individual being creative, it's actually quite productive being locked down and in a quiet space. But I think when you try to get a group together, it's much more difficult to do the typical architectural whiteboarding. Much more group level creative has been more of a challenge. And I think certainly still to be solved from a lot of a tool set point of view.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's a good point around agile and whatnot. Helping us work in this new way of world. What about in terms of people that are just getting into the industry, Dave? You've been in this for a long time. Have you got any advice for IT graduates, junior developers, those sort of people?
I think for me is developers is almost becoming the new artisan, the new craft. And to be expert in any craft, you need to put the hours in, and you need to be enthusiastic and passionate about what you do. I love to be working with developers who are, we call them T-shaped, it's a common term in the industry, which is having a broad interest and knowledge across a wide range of subjects, but also being very focused in terms of your specialization. And it's great to be able to be talking to developers about the latest frameworks or the latest languages or architectural approaches, and having that breadth of experience, and young developers actually having the interest to find out themselves. There's lots of educational tools out there to learn about stuff, but also having the deep knowledge. For me, a great developer is 10 times as productive as a average developer. So for every person coming out of university, coming into this industry, I would say aim to be the best you can. So be knowledgeable, learn about what's out there. We all know this is a very fast moving space. So actually having those fundamental computer science knowledge base to fall back on. There's lots of new tool sets will come out, lots of exciting new approaches will come out. Every day, new technology comes out, and you need to have that solid foundation to be able to adopt those as quickly as possible. And I think it's a great industry. I've certainly loved being in the industry. But I think it does require self-starters. You need to be passionate about what you do to be great in this space.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely second what you mentioned about always be learning in terms of keeping up to date with the latest and greatest tech. I was speaking to a professor the other day who teaches computer science, and he was honest and said that what a lot of students, learn in their first year is often outdated by the time they get to their third year. So constant self-learning is obviously key. Dave, I suppose on that topic of cutting edge technologies, if we were to look inside your crystal ball into the future, is there anything that you're passionate about which you think will have a big impact on the future from a bleeding edge tech perspective?
I'm not sure about bleeding edge. I think the two key areas that where I see a huge opportunity for growth and benefit is really around the whole DevOps space. It's obviously the buzzword at the moment. But the ability to be able to define your deployment architecture in software is amazingly powerful. But at present, the tool sets, the knowledge base, the skill sets isn't really there yet. So I think many people who are implementing the DevOps approach are finding the resources are very scarce. It's actually not increasing productivity, it's reducing productivity. Until you get it right, and then it becomes very, very effective. So I think the tool sets and the development tools around containerization, deployment, is going to be a massive growth area over the next 2 or 3 years. Then the other subject that's close to my heart is really big data, machine learning, and AI. We process masses of daily transactions, which is a proxy for how people are behaving. And one of the mantras for sports loyalty is creating a win-win-win situation where the advertisers or the retailers are winning because they're getting the customers they're looking for. The banks are winning because they're creating a great loyalty experience, but also the consumers and the members are also winning because they're getting the best deals they can on the high street. So being able to dig deep into that data to say, for you, this is the right offer at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. 12 o'clock, it probably won't be the right offer, but now it is. And having that level of machine learning and AI built into the big data is huge. Lots of people are doing a lot of work in that space. We're doing our own work in that space, but I think there's still a journey to go to make it really, really productive and effective.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with all of that. All right. Well, thanks so much for taking the time, Dave. I'll tag you on LinkedIn, so if people have questions, I'm sure they'll reach out and drop you a message. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Great talking.